Hi, this is Keith Bailey. I'm here to do recap of the Week 1 NFL season 2013. I'll start with Denver, and I'm not watching the game because it's the only time I really have to do the recap with college and everything. And I also have power rankings I have to do, and my picks for next week as well. So before the Monday night games and the Sunday night games, this is the best chance for me to do my recap. I'll do the recap for the other games when I do my predictions for Week 2. Anyways, without further ado, we'll start with Denver, Baltimore. Tell you, if the Broncos play like that every single week, they're going to get to the Super Bowl. That's just being honest. Baltimore's defense is a lot worse than we all thought. I know it's only one game, but for no defense in the NFL for the last 50 or so years, no matter how bad the defense is, has ever allowed 7 passing touchdowns, and the Ravens are the first team to do so since the 60s. And they got blown out. The score's 49-27, and it really wasn't as close as the score suggested. At the end of the first half, that's when the game really went uh, way against what Baltimore wanted it to go. So credit to Denver, man. I mean, they're really good, especially with Wes Welker there. He definitely had an impact when he was playing that game. Next, we'll go to New England and Buffalo. This game surprised me a little bit. E.J. Manuel played a lot better than I thought he was going to play. And the Patriots may be a little worse than we expected, and the Bills may be a little better than we expected. The Patriots pulled this one out 23-21 on a game-winning field goal. And for a team that went to the AFC Championship last year to need a game-winning field goal to beat a team like the Bills, that going into Week 1 had so much controversy in terms of who was going to play quarterback with them. Now, let's not underestimate the Bills. They definitely gave it their all, and they made so many mistakes but managed to stay in the game by capitalizing on the few mistakes the Patriots made. There's a lot the Patriots could have done better. There's a lot the Bills could have done better. But regardless, Bills lost and the Patriots won, and credit to them. Next game. If you watched my picks for Week 1, I called this one straight up. Seattle Seahawks and Carolina Panthers. I said not to overlook the Carolina Panthers in this game. I was off on the score by about 10 points from each team, but the Seahawks only won 12-7. And I really thought Seahawks were going to have a tough time traveling all the way to Carolina. They did get the win, 12-7. And Russell Wilson did have a pretty good game for the most part. He really turned it on in the second half. But the Panthers hung in there, and Seattle ended up getting the win, and that proves Seattle is going to do things this year. They had a lot of trouble winning on the road last year. So to go on the road all the way in the East Coast and play a team like Carolina, which is not to be underrated or overlooked, is impressive, especially for Russell Wilson in his second season. Next, we have the Bengals at the Bears. I was wrong about this one. The Bengals just shot themselves in the foot many times in this game. I think they just shot their foot off. They didn't even shoot it once. But they made too many mistakes. And for them to only lose by 3 points is amazing in itself, considering how many mistakes they made. They had a 21-10 lead, gave up 14 unanswered points to the Chicago Bears. Bears took advantage of all the mistakes that they had, and that was a good win for the rookie head coach there. Next game, Miami at Cleveland. Brandon Weeden played like it was 2012, and the Browns can't do that if they want to win. They got beat by the better team today, the Miami Dolphins, and I picked the Browns to win this game originally, but Brandon Weeden, you can't throw 3 interceptions in one game and expect to win, especially when you're the Cleveland Browns. I mean, the Browns aren't a bad football team, but if you throw 3 interceptions on a team like that, you're not going to win. Now, if you throw 3 interceptions, if you're like Niners or the Packers, then you have a chance of winning. Cleveland, no, not yet. So that was a good win by Miami. Good win for Ryan Tannehill. Next game, Minnesota at Detroit. Adrian Peterson is a beast. I will say that. However, Detroit completely turned it up. Got the win. I picked this one I didn't pick obviously the correct score. I'm not going to do that all the time. But the Detroit Lions ended up winning 34-24. It was a pretty good game on both sides. It was tight for the most part. Detroit finally opened it up a little more later in the fourth quarter to put this game away. Next game, man, I'm so disappointed in the next game. The Colts won 21-17, and as I said, if you watch my picks, I picked the Raiders in an upset, 20-17. So I wasn't too far off from the score, but I would say for the most part, as an upset pick, I didn't do too bad. I mean, they didn't get blown out. It was a really, really close game, and the Colts ended up coming back and winning. Credit to them. They started 1-0. The Raiders didn't. Terrell Pryor looked a lot better than people expected. He is the NFL's leading rusher as a quarterback with over 100 yards rushing. So, good for him. The Raiders, this is around the same case as New England and Buffalo. The Raiders are a little better than we expected. The Colts are a little worse than we expected. But again, it is only week 1. Anything can happen. It's the NFL. Next, Kansas City at Jacksonville. This game was just bad. I mean, Kansas City just whomped all over them. In Jacksonville too. They just went into their stadium and literally just took a dump on their home turf. That's really how bad this game was. And this game was over early when it was 21-2. Scoreless third quarter. Alex Smith, give credit where it's due, and Andy Reid as well. The team played really well. Alex Smith played well for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, good for them. They were able to get that win. Next game, we have the Falcons and the Saints. I picked this one. The score wasn't as high as I thought it would be. It's 23-17. That was the score of the game. Good game. Atlanta jumped out to a 10-0 lead, but weren't able to capitalize. The New Orleans Saints came back. They scored 13 unanswered points, and then after Atlanta's touchdown to take the lead, it was all New Orleans from there. And it was a good home win for the Saints, and good for the Saints. They just ended up winning. That's all it really was. Next game, Jets and Buccaneers. This one surprised me a lot. I think this one surprised a lot of people. The Jets won 18-17. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers just killed themselves with stupid penalties, especially at the end of the game. Had that penalty not happened, the Buccaneers would have won by a score of 17-15. But this is the NFL. Players do stupid crap. And the Jets somehow were able to get the win over the Buccaneers. And I know it's only week 1, but maybe I could have been wrong about Tampa Bay. I mean, their offense does not look like what it looked like in the middle of last year. Last year, their offense exploded in almost every single game. And this year, it's just that they didn't have an explosive offense by any means. Next game. Tennessee Titans and Pittsburgh Steelers. What up? I got this one wrong, actually. I picked the Steelers to win this game. I am very impressed with the way our defense played. I will say a lot of this has to be that the Steelers are a lot worse than we expected, more so than the Titans are better than people expected. I will admit I didn't really see this one coming. It didn't really catch me by surprise, but I was very pleased with how our defense played. I mean, I know the Steelers lost a couple players to injury, but every team is going to get injuries once in a while. Jake Locker had an okay game, didn't make mistakes, game manager. Chris Johnson had an okay game. You know, that's what you're going to get when you play the Steelers. They had the best defense in the league last year, and we've still managed to beat them 16-9. We had their number. The Steelers, I think it's going to be a long year for them. Said they're going to go in last place in the AFC North, and I still stand by that. I don't think they're as good as what people would have hoped. So, Tennessee goes 1-0, Pittsburgh goes 0-1. Yay. Next game. Don't want to talk about my team too much there. The Niners and the Packers. This was a back and forth game, the entire game, and it was a very fun game to watch. The 49ers won by a score of 34-28. With a sack on Aaron Rodgers to end the game. Not a sack. It was an incomplete pass, but still, it's a good game. Colin Kaepernick over 400 yards passing and three touchdown passes, and Anquan Bolden had a monster game. Got to give it up to him there. There's no doubt that San Francisco is going to be a tough team to beat, and we've got a very good game next week with San Francisco playing Seattle. So, San Francisco, Green Bay drops to 0-1, Niners are 1-0. We'll see what the rest of the season has. Next game, and I will say I called this. I said both in my picks and in my NFC predictions, the Cardinals were going to lose a lot of close games this year, and I picked the Rams to win by 3 in my predictions. I was wrong about the score, but the Rams won 27-24 on a game-winning field goal, and I think this is going to be the story for the Cardinals. They're going to lose a lot of close games. Let's just stand by that. The St. Louis Rams came back from 11 down and managed to get the win. That was a good win for Jeff Fisher and co. Jared Cook had a good game. Sam Bradford had a good game. And they were able to make the comeback. Larry Fitzgerald finally has someone throwing the ball to him, so don't underestimate the Cardinals this year. They're going to be a pest for anyone who plays them as the year progresses. So that's it. Those are the games that have been played. I will be back with my picks for week 2, but before I do my picks for week 2, in the same video I'm going to do reviews and what I think about the other 3 games that need to be played. The Sunday Nighter and both Monday night games I will be doing recaps on in the same video as my picks. So, thank you for watching. My name is Keith Bailey. Go Titans, week 1, NFL, almost in the books. Love football season. It's back, baby. That's all I care about.